You are listening to the Speech Space Podcast, a podcast full of tips, tricks, and resources for SLPs. I'm your host, Jessica Cassidy, and this is episode 7. Hey everyone, I'm here today with my friend Jennifer, and we're going to talk about some ways that we can keep speech therapy fun even when we're working on a very tight budget and with very limited resources. I'd like to share a little bit of background on Jennifer before we dive in. Jennifer is a school-based speech therapist in Michigan, and she loves bringing creative ideas into her speech room to keep speech therapy fun. She is also the author of the blog Speech Therapy Fun and creates materials that she sells on Teachers Pay Teachers. Like I mentioned before, she's here today to give us some fun ideas when you're working on a tight budget. So let's jump right in. What inspired you to start using common objects for speech therapy?
I think because I work in a low-income school district and there is absolutely no budget for therapy materials. So kind of have to come up with ideas of your own on how to use things that you just have in your room. And I have pencils and I have a stapler and I have paper. And so we just kind of play with what I have in my therapy room and kind of make therapy out of it.
Okay. So if you're going to choose an object, what's one of those that you just listed that you could choose?
So pencils I've done before, and the kids actually love it because it's a different way to use pencils and they've never seen it before and it's not a worksheet. So, and I have plenty of pencils. There's plenty of pencils in the teacher workroom to grab. So it's an easy material to use for this.
Okay, yeah. Everybody has pencils,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, can you share 3 activities that you might do with a pencil in speech therapy?
So one of them that I play, it's kind of hard to explain, but kind of like the dots game where you connect the dots, and if you connect a square, you get to put your initial in it. Do you know what game I'm talking about?
I think so.
So it's a bunch of dots on a piece of paper in a square, and then if you connect,
like lay the pencils.
Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is instead of the dots on the paper, I'll lay a bunch of pencils. So you probably need like 20 pencils. I'll lay a bunch of pencils connected into little squares, and they make one big square. And then I'll place flashcards where the pencils are joining each other, and then kids just take turns taking one pencil off at a time, and whoever uncovers that flashcard has to, say that word 5 times or give a definition of the word if it's for a language goal. And then whoever picks up the last pencil at the end, they just count out their pencils, and whoever has the most pencils wins. So
okay, well, that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. And then another one we do, I've used this pencil as a spinner. So I lay flashcards in a big circle, and then the kids just take one pencil and they spin it in the middle, and whichever it's pointing to, they have to pick up that card. And again, they have to either say that word 5 times, or they have to give a definition or describe that picture, kind of whatever goal we're working on. So it actually works out really well for mixed groups too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I just wanted to take a brief break here for a second, and thank you guys for tuning in today. And I just wanted to let you know that Jennifer blogs over at speechtherapyfun.com. So if you like these ideas that she's sharing today, then you'll definitely want to head on over there and check that out. So let's get back to the last suggestion that she has for us today.
So this one, I took a bunch of pencils that had nice erasers on them and numbered them 1 through 5. And I lay them on the table so that the students can't see the eraser part. And I have them pick a pencil one at a time, and the number on the eraser they have to look at, and that's whatever task they have to do that many times. And I actually made a worksheet that just has pencil pictures on it, and they're numbered 1 through 6. So there's 6 different pencils on there. And when they pick their pencil, if it has that number, they get to lay it on that picture of the pencil, and then whoever covers all 6 of their pencils wins. And if they already have that number covered, then they have to put the pencil back, but they still have to complete the amount of tasks. So
okay, very cool.
So
how do you write? Yeah, how do you write on the eraser, with like a Sharpie or something?
Just with a pen. I just write on the eraser with a pen. Okay. Yes, and so I want to say about 20 pencils, and they just have numbers on the eraser, and kids like picking and seeing what number they get. And
very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know you also have a blog post on letting the student become the SLP for a session. How did you come up with that idea?
So I've heard of teachers do teacher for a day, and I was like, well, why not try to do the SLP for a
Yeah, I've
day?
heard of
And
that.
I think it gives the student a way of thinking outside the box, and instead of just being told what to do all the time, they have to think of what to tell me to do. So we pretty much set it up as they're the SLP for the session and I'm the student, and it's you have to do it with kids who've been in therapy for a while so they know how therapy goes.
Right.
And it's just really funny to listen to them kind of be you, and I make mistakes on purpose and see if they'll catch me, and it makes them listen in a different from a different perspective, of just, saying it just really makes them think about what they're saying and think about what they're hearing. And it's great for articulation. I think that's the best way to use the student becoming the SLP, because they have to really think about their sounds and they have to think about what I'm saying and if I'm wrong or if I'm right and how to fix it. And they'll tell me, put your tongue here, place your teeth here. And it's just funny to listen to them because clearly they're listening to me throughout the sessions, but it's really helpful to them too at the same time. And of course they love it. So I do it more as a reward every so often because they want to do it. But again, it's kids who've been in therapy for a while, so they have to know how therapy goes because you can't do it with students who
Yeah,
just
I imagine
started.
that'd be pretty empowering for them.
Yes,
too,
it's very empowering because they get excited when they can correct you or when they picked out that you did something that wasn't quite right. And for me, it's great because I'm noticing that they're actually catching things and they're listening in therapy. I actually understand that they're finally listening.
Yeah, I bet that makes you feel good too.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, they're actually learning something.
Yes, exactly. I know that you like to use dollar store items in therapy. Can you share with our listeners one of your favorite dollar store items that you like to use in your therapy session?
Big dice that you can get, the colorful dice.
One,
yes, because then it's not flying all over the floor. It's soft. You don't lose them. And my students love them. Just because they're just more fun than the little dice. But I think those are my favorite from the dollar store. And I always see them in there, so I'm hoping they're in other states too, not just where I'm from.
I've seen them in there,
Yeah, those are my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay. All right. Can you tell our listeners how they can find you?
Yes, so my blog is Speech Therapy Fun, and I have a lot of ideas on there on how to use different items for therapy or just ways to make speech more fun for your student and more motivating. And then I also sell materials on Teachers Pay Teachers. It's Speech Therapy Fun with Jennifer Bradley. Okay. And then on Instagram, I'm also at Speech Therapy Fun.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you for being here and talking about these great ideas today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Please make sure you check out Jen's site. And if you'd like some visuals for the games that she spoke of, I'm going to link to her blog post on using pencils in speech therapy in the show notes. So check that out over on thespeechspace.com/podcast. There will be some links and resources and you'll find the link there. So that's it for today's show. I would love to hear if there are any topics that you'd like me to discuss on the podcast. So please feel free to reach out to me at jessica@thespeechspace.com. I will do my best to work in some of the most popular requests for future episodes.
Be sure to check back next week where I will be talking about tips for teaching the S sound.